Hello and welcome everybody to Drug Dealer Simulator. So you can get this on the Steam store right now. I believe it's roughly £15 or maybe a little bit more in the UK. Um, it's a really fun game, and they recently announced a new update for it coming soon, which addresses a lot of the concerns with graphics. So a lot of people I read were complaining about the graphics, which to me is the graphics aren't a problem because it's more about gameplay. And there's a few things about this game which why I'm making this video is why I'm kind of hoping that the developers will respond, because there's a lot of people who have the same sort of issues with me with this game. So one of the issues with this game that I find the most is it's one of the small issues, but as you can see here, the lighting in some parts where it's really dark, it is near impossible to see where to actually be able to walk and go and look. It's just extremely dark, and there needs to be, I think, like a few lighting changes. I tried using the HDR mode with my TV, and all it did was cause a massive amount of lag. And we're talking me running an RTX 2080 card on this machine, so the fact there was lag on with just activating HDR was, it wasn't very enjoyable to say. Um, Now, before I really get into more of this, I just want to say that I don't hate this game. I absolutely love this game. The only reason I'm criticizing it is because I want the game to get better. A lot of people just seem to hate the game as soon as they play it because they say they get bored. Instead of saying, like, you hate it, do what I do. Voice your concerns. And I'm sure, I'm hoping that developers will respond to some of our concerns, which they already have with one of my concerns, which is this area here, where it is just a block wall of highway. They are now changing that in the next update, as well as I mentioned before, they are going over the textures. Now, you might see a few frame drops here and there because I am recording as well as running this in 4K and ultra settings. So yeah, if there's any frame drops, it's just because of the multitude of sort of things that are going on at the same time. Um, Now, one of the main concerns a lot of people have is when you get to my point, when I hold tab here, you can see that I've got to deliver 38 50-gram cocaine packages. And when we look at the map, luckily this time it's near my my small town warehouse, which is just around the corner. But sometimes it might be over here, which I think is actually I think it's roughly here by the nightclub there. There it is. Or it might be over here by the furniture shop. Now, it doesn't look like a long journey, but that's quite a long journey. And when you can only carry up to about 15 lots of 50 grams, as you can see, I've got to do 38. That's about 3 journeys. That's 3 journeys worth of running backwards and forwards to deliver packages, and that kind of makes the game a little bit tedious sometimes. Um, Same as when you have to, after you've delivered it, you have to confirm that you've delivered it all, for you to then walk up to this ominous guy standing. I'll show you guys because this is just I just won't save this one. Standing, I think it's around this corner here. Every single time, the same place. He stands round this road here. He stands just on the end here, outside this obvious drug dealer mansion. And you pick up these briefcases, and you end up getting a limited amount of briefcases, which is just ridiculous. I've had to start, like, literally throwing these around because I've got nothing to do with them. I mean, like, what do? Do I just... I mean, I can bin them, I suppose, but that just drops them, and there's nothing really... nothing really you can do with them, and you end up just keep collecting them and collecting them. You end up just buying places to store suitcases. I mean, wouldn't one of the easiest things is just increase the availability or the amount of cash that a briefcase can hold, instead of giving you a briefcase, requiring you to already have one, so then you don't get over encumbered by the amount of briefcases you have to have around the map. Also, having it so that the money gets dropped off in a dead drop, because what you got to think about that is that money hasn't been washed, it's not laundered, it's, you know, if you're walking around with 60,000 in a briefcase, the weird thing is you don't get stopped and pulled over or anything. So I think that there's a few changes there that need to be made. Another thing is when you build all that money up, when you've got loads of money, apart from what I've got, where I've got absolutely loads of cocaine, and all I do lately is I build up all that money, and then I spend it all on ordering loads of cocaine, and then keep dealing with the big dealers, and I'm letting my reputation of the small dealers sort of drop, because, you know, I don't, even though I'm earning more money with the smaller dealers, I'm just selling it in bigger bulk with the gangs. One of the things with that, as I said, is the amount of money that you're getting in. Apart from buying loads of cocaine, loads of properties, there's nothing really to do with it. Now, I had an idea, because I wrote a lot of this in a response to their video. They did a developer video, sort of talking about the future of the game. And one of the things I had an idea is maybe we could have the ability to buy shops, apartments to rent out to people. Because the thing with being a drug dealer is when you get to the point where you're making this amount, and you've got that much money, you're going to, just like laundering it, you're going to want to sort of like have a front for it. And so the idea is that in these buildings is basically a front for your operations, your bigger operations, and that basically with these businesses obviously comes risks. If you get caught, or you get an inspection and there's, they find a hidden door, and that's where you're storing a load of drugs into your business, or you're dealing under the counter with a business, that could be another thing for sort of like the DEA to get hot on you. And obviously businesses, these aren't be making much money because they're mainly a front, and any money you make is sort of getting laundered anyway that you get. So basically it's more about just explaining why you're getting thousands of thousands in your bank account in this game. I mean, that's another thing of doing with the money, is putting in your bank account, but once again, there's nothing to spend it on, which is a big deal for me. I mean, another thing could be is, it'd be good to be able to bribe officers. So say you could bribe it so there's only half the amount of police officers patrolling in the night. That could be another good thing which to spend your money on. Certain upgrades as well, like being able to carry more bags, or sort of that sort of thing could help with on the large side delivery sort of things. But another upgrade that you could purchase in the game could be sort of like zip lines to carry across large amounts of drugs. So, for example, there's a big wall in the middle of the map, and to keep carrying them across and throwing them over the wall, it gets a bit tedious after a while. And a good thing would be just be able to maybe put them on a zip line over, but maybe have it so that if the AI detects that you are that there's drugs going above them in big sacks or something, that maybe that you get chased down or something, or you get a lot of notification, notoriety with the DEA or something. So notoriety, maybe, I can't think of the word right now. Notoriety, maybe that's it. But anyway, yeah, that could add another gameplay mechanic where it's not only making it sort of less tedious for the player to take drugs across that sort of like border, but also make it so it's another upgrade. It's something they can buy. And another idea I had as well was maybe having a dealer in the game that you can, like, one of your dealers picks it up from one of your buildings. But obviously this would cause a permanent increase, say a bar of permanent increase of DEA sort of noticing you, and maybe sort of like they go out and only once a day they can deliver what you've got here. That would be another way of counteracting the constant sort of grinds that I find having to keep running backwards and forwards. Another thing would be as well, I would like to see is maybe being able to buy like warehouses and hiring people to make all these packages into 50 grams. Because if you just see, like, while I'm talking, the amount of times I have to do this just to collect 38 packets of 50 grams, and then there's ordering all of them, and then there's picking you know, the 100-gram packets up. It's sort of stuff which is, for a simulator, it's fine, but it can get tedious, and there's loads of ways to counteract this. Like I just then said, you know, having it so you can hire people to cut all this up for you into the right bags and sort them into bags for you, and they sort of get processed on like a, I don't know, say a conveyor belt on, say, a front of a business, say like a shop or something, which you'd also have to manage, because obviously they'd be suspicious if you know, you're getting too much money in. See, look, I'm having to store suitcases here. I did have some money about here. Did I spend it? I think I might have spent it actually. On buying cocaine. I had, okay, about 12,000 there. And I've got these hidden containers. This is another thing I like to see. You can only hold £1,000 in a hidden container. I'd rather be able to save up a bit more and buy one big hidden unraidable container. Or not even to say unraidable, but just say that it's got a high chance that they don't get raided. And you can see here, I'm starting to fix my own lighting problems by by installing the UV lamps above around my apartment in here. So I didn't even turn the lights on here, so it get a little bit more brighter when I turn these on. It might even get a little laggier. But this helps a lot with the lighting, and every time what I find is you boot up the game, if it's not in the main apartment, you have to turn the lights on for every single apartment that you're in, and it just kind of gets annoying. So you see what I mean about the constant delivery of cocaine bags that we have to do. So I'm just now picking all these up. And so we just check how much we can carry. 16 this time. So it's different every time for some reason how much you can carry. I think it depends how they stack. I've got a few here actually. I don't want these on me. I suppose actually this time it's okay. So 16 plus 3. Best thing to do is recommend before you go do a sale is to do a quick save. Always do a quick save. Even though I said I wasn't going to save on this one, but oh well. So there's police there, obviously we want to avoid them. Another thing I had an idea of is to make the game a bit more challenging with the dealers. Now the reputation system, for me, I think it drops too quickly in this game. That, you know, if they don't make an order from you or you don't fulfill that order every so often, you know, the reputation drops so dramatically. Because you haven't fulfilled like one order, it gets a little bit silly that you're constantly having to then go, oh, I'll give out free samples and that lot. When it comes to your dealers, because we're talking about end game stuff here, you know, it shouldn't be dropping that quickly when you're that big of a sort of dealer in this game. It shouldn't be dropping that quickly. So one of my ideas was, instead of having it drop like that, to keep the reputation up, but they could have a game mechanic where other drug dealers move in to the area, and maybe if you get seen by these other drug dealers that, or not seen, but you know, maybe they deal on your patch or whatever, that you can lose certain percent of your businesses per sort of like area of the map. So if we look at the map now, say the East Old Town where I am now, where I've got my warehouse, say that I had 3 dealers here, but one of them, I didn't deal with them for a while, so one of them left to join another dealer. And what you could have it say that the dealer here, he obviously is taking up some of my percentage of my business, and say that maybe they could sort of do a thing where, like, the more respect you're losing, the more deals, you know, the more business you're losing out, and more dealers you're losing out per area. But as a counter thing, you can sort of like pay for these dealers to be killed. Like, you could go to the gangs and pay for these dealers to be killed. So this will keeping the guns out of the game, because I don't think there's real need for there to be guns in it at the moment. Because it's more, for me, this is more of a business tycoon sort of game. And maybe as well is that those dealers as well, if you're doing so much business in that lot, that sometimes they'll take a stab at you and maybe kill one of your dealers. So that'll give you more reasons to keep going back. Oh shit. To keep going back and getting sort of like having to use more dealers. Oh bugger. See, that's why we have a save point. I didn't even see who that police officer was. Um, Now they are updating the AI to make the AI, I think, a bit more smarter, more options and stuff. But another thing that I was thinking, which could make the game feel a bit more alive, is not just you getting stopped, but maybe seeing some of the AI that walk around get stopped. This could sort of make it feel like more of a living world where, um, it's not just you. They're only not just looking out for you all the time. I'm sure half these people are either on drugs that you're dealing with, or dealers themselves. Um, so maybe the police, just as an animation, every so often could stop other people, and maybe just give the world a bit more of that sort of feeling where they're not the only one. I think, have I put too much in there? So you want, yeah, only 38 grams. So this is the annoying thing. Is about this game is I constantly have to measure and all that lot, but that's not so bad. But the constant having to do this, and I have to run back and then confirm the order and then go pick up my money, um, even though the sort of like objective thing confirms it itself, it's a little bit tedious. This isn't, once again, this isn't me hating this game. I do absolutely love this game. It's just that I want to see some improvements to this game. I think it's got potential to be one of the best indie games currently that we have on the platform. So it would just be good to see some of these improvements, really. So now, like I was saying before about the money, as you see here. So you get this Gustavo, then you say ask for a meeting, and this reputation, I swear, it always goes back up to here, and I never seem to gain reputation because it keeps like going back. I don't know if it's glitched or whatever. So like it says, don't bring a case. So you chuck the case you've got on you down now, which gets you another bloody case. And now we have to go and pick it up from this ominous guy with a briefcase standing over here. So yeah, that gets a little bit sort of tedious there, having to run backwards and forwards all the time. And obviously the save method is a bit of a cheat that I'm using. That's doing a manual save every so often, so I don't get caught. But that's for me, sort of wanting to show you guys. That's the thing I was on about the briefcases here. So I go pick up another briefcase, check how much I've got inside. 74,000. I mean, if you say you go to this furniture shop over here, there's barely anything that costs 1,000. I mean, you can go to the drugstore and buy some like drug mixing stuff and that lot. But if you're not into that part of the game, like I'm not, I'm happy to just keep cutting up the same drugs and selling that, because it's what I've chosen for my drug deal sort of business in this game. I mean, look at my account, for example, as well, how much money I've got in my account in this game. 63,000, and we're going to look in the store now. There's literally nothing to sort of, there's nothing really interesting that you can buy. And this is not, once again, this is not me having to dig at the developers. It's me just wanting to see improvements to the game. I mean, the prices of all this stuff, apart from laptops, because that's I think that should sort of stay at that sort of price, because when you open up a new building, it's kind of essential that if you're going to deal there, that you need that sort of thing. But the rest of these prices, like storage wardrobes and that lot, they could do with being bumped up a little bit, or maybe as you progress, there's better tiers that can hold more. That would be great. Now, a lot of people are saying what they want in the game is the ability to buy furnishings for your apartment. There is furnishings there and beds and stuff, but like I think you get pretty bored of it pretty quickly with just being able to furnish your apartments. I think like having a side thing, so like I said, with having business fronts is a good idea, because that way it's also something for you to manage as well. So like manage employees and that lot, and make sure they don't catch on to what you're doing, and if they do, maybe having to bribe them or something so they don't grass you up. Now with taking drugs through to this part of the town, now I find that I have to throw it over the wall that way somewhere. I have to throw it over the wall. If not, you're constantly having to just like throw stuff over the wall, get searched, go back, throw it back over the wall, and it gets a little bit tedious. Or you can pay for the underground sort of thing. But it'd just be nice if there was some more routes other than maybe a secret route that maybe not pay for, but a risk of maybe gaining notoriety. Because, I mean, paying for that route just doesn't seem, doesn't give sense. There's a guy standing every time, paying, accepting money of people to go through a tunnel every so often. It just, for me, that just doesn't make sense. Now, they're adding weather system, which is going to be great. I definitely think that a change of weather in this game would be awesome. Maybe have it as a mechanic if it rains, that you shouldn't really deal things like cocaine in the rain or whatever, because it could get damaged. Or I don't know. Maybe there's just so much that maybe that could be looked at in this game, just to make the game not just a challenge, but to add mechanics to the game, which just changes it up a little bit. Now you can sort of grow weed in this game, but like I find that you have to buy all this, then buy all that, and then sort of to get going on that, it for me it just takes a little bit too long. Now he's on about like loot and stuff. So if you find a building, I've never actually been over here actually. I should probably actually look over here, see what is over here. Now he's on about adding loot to lock pickable buildings and changing the lock pick up. That they're adding that in. But one of the things I had, like, because maybe DEA raids, could be a little bit more intrusive and take more, then maybe that we could have the ability, because most people who are on drugs or whatever, most dealers, half the dealers are on drugs. Like even in this game, he says you have the choice of saying you got messed up overnight on drugs, and then you also a dealer yourself. That maybe we could have the ability in this game to not only sort of like, oh, I like this for a warehouse. This would be cool. Can I get this for a warehouse? Yeah, not only the ability to deal drugs and whatever, but if you get completely raided and you lose everything, maybe with the option to rob some of these shops. You don't get much money or mug people or whatever. This would also bring your respect down in the area though. So there's plenty of, as I said, mechanics to this game. Now someone actually told me on my profile that there is a flashlight. I think it's like tab and D, he said. Or was it tab and D? Oh, tab and F. Ah, there we go. It's not a very good flashlight. Considering that you'd have to run around with it open, which doesn't really work when you want to get around. But yeah, that's sort of it for the moment. Maybe I might make a follow-up video if anyone else has any ideas about this sort of game, and I'm looking to see other people's ideas as well, what they think that this could maybe possibly come to this game. Just because I want to see if the developers will listen to these videos and hopefully take on board some of the it's helpful criticism about the game. So it's not like we don't want to be negative about the game. We just, some of us feel like there could be improvements done to this game, which could make the game a bit more funner and challenging, bit more of a challenge to some people, and a bit more of a, I don't know what words to really put in here. Just change it up a little bit. Now this would be a nice property to have. Be able to have that with all the sheds and grow shit out here. That's one thing I'm going to practice, is learning how to grow sort of stuff on the outside, because some of it can be grown on the outside, or can only be grown on the outside. So I'll see if I can grow a massive weed farm out here. But the weed's not valued that much, so I don't know if other strains in here after you grow them are worth more than cocaine. But if it's not worth more than cocaine, it's not going to be worth doing. So that's one thing I have to find out. So there we are, guys. That's it for the video. I hope everyone sort of enjoyed, and also has any ideas for this game. Sort of like tell the developers of this, let them know that we want that we love this game, and that we just wanted to see it do a bit more better. because I'm seeing a lot of hate for it, just for it being not what the trailers. So I mean, I did watch that trailer. It did look a little. I gotta admit, hands down, I always give truthful criticism. It did look a little bit misleading, considering that they're showing them shooting guns and shit like that. I don't know if that was maybe because that's just what you see the future for the game, of the game being sort of like that. Um, but yeah, it'd be good to see some of these mechanics come out. I don't know if you guys have like run out of money or something, but just be good to see if you just like let the community know, sort of like, I know you're doing the dev vlogs, but that it'd be good to see if you have taken on some of the criticism from people, and if you're listening. That's pretty much it. What I have to say. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see everyone on the next video. Goodbye.